Board of Selectmen will be dissolved on July 1st. We have the highlights from their final meeting. The beginning of the government transition is here. We have all the details coming up.
Plus, the school committee reviews overall academic scores along with plans for next year that will benefit students' learning.
And later, one local star is helping the community through fitness. Find out why her program is different from the rest. The story ahead.
Also, the East Longmeadow Public Library Summer Reading Kickoff event was a huge success. Find out what librarian Jenny Kinder did differently this year to increase participation.
Those stories and much more ahead on ELCAT News Update. Thanks for tuning in to ELCAT News Update. I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Jake Brady.
We begin the show with the final Board of Selectmen meeting as the town transitions to a new form of government. On the agenda was an appointment with the newly elected town council. Selectmen Paul Federici and Kevin Manley are also town council members. Brief introductions were given, and former Charter Commission member Eric Madison explained what residents can expect in the next coming weeks, according to what's written in the charter.
We have to name either an acting or interim town administrator at that point, and set the wheels in motion for what processes we're going to follow or that we're going to start to establish for the filling the seat permanently, as well as setting out a meeting schedule. So there's a lot of things that we need to discuss. For that purposes, we've actually have set a meeting for tomorrow night right here at 6:30. Although we're not yet a council, so we're not yet, we can't make any decisions, we can't hold any votes, we can't take any action like that. We can discuss things so that on July 1st, when we have to make some of these decisions, at least we've had some discussion to that end.
Like Madison said, the council is not official until July 1st. However, a meeting was held on June 22nd for discussion. ELCAT covered the first ever town council unofficial meeting.
To get going, I just want to congratulate everybody once again on a historical election and welcome here to our new path ahead, our form of government. And thank you. Just wanted to remind everybody again, July 1st is the day we're going to be sworn in. And again, that's we had mentioned before, maybe a good logistic item to talk about later on in our discussion. You know, when to be sworn in. There was a lot of good ideas, you know, earlier that makes sense. You know, have the department heads there, and I think that's a good thing to get more people there to see historical swearing in like this. I think that makes sense. We'll just go by the agenda. There's some good items up, you know, on there that really will help, you know, the efficiency and get people going for the July 1st first meeting.
The council invited a representative from the Collins Center to give an educational background on the hiring process for a town manager.
For those of you who don't know, the Collins Center for Public Management is a center within the McCormick School of Government at UMass Boston. It was created in 2008 with the sole mission of helping cities and towns and some state governments work better, efficiently. We are you know, a fee-for-service, not a profit-making organization. And everybody who works there has a public sector background. I help out with the recruitments, and I also lead the HR practice for pay and classifications, for trainings, for HR audits. Done a lot of work in this area. We believe that in order to attract good candidates, which this job will, it'll be very exciting for some of you. There aren't that many town manager positions in the area, and it's an attractive form of government. It's always somebody's goal to be a town manager and work with a council and you know, have that experience.
The council has not yet decided whether or not they will choose the Collins Center for guidance during the hiring process. Madison and Manley gave their feedback from their individual experience with the Collins Center. The council also looked at different alternatives to weigh the pros and cons.
In my opinion, that the Charter Commission had with the Collins Center was exceptional. They were fantastic in terms of taking the concerns of each and every member of the council, and, or commission rather, and melding that into a solution or resolution. Now, we might read some of it and go, now, why did they come up with that? And in many instances, it was because everyone had legitimate concerns, and we found a way to deal with it. And the experience that they brought at writing the charters was phenomenal.
As soon as I was in touch with them, saying like, this is kind of like what we're looking for, you know, how can you help us? Started with an interim conversation originally, and then it was like, I'll be there. It was less than a week. They're on top of it. I mean, it's not.
It sounds like a great option, and I know there's a need for speed, so what is our alternatives? I mean, you know,
Our alternatives would be to draft a set of specifications or a RFP, what's called an RFP, a request for proposal, and go out through following the 30B regulations. To do that, we're probably looking at anywhere, rushing it along a 4 to 6 week process just to decide on a firm, just to get the bids back, if you will. Then we have to review them all and make a decision on which firm we'd want to go with.
and I'm sure it'll take all of 4 to 6 weeks to do. So
Yeah, at minimum.
can we set an agenda item for July 1st to decide whether or not we're going to move forward with, you know, with the Collins Center? Is
I
that?
think that's reasonable.
I think that's very reasonable. Yep.
Hiring an outside firm for a town manager will cost the town money. Madison explains where that money will come from.
As we boosted, I believe, I'm doing this from memory now, by either $25,000 or $50,000, the reserve fund. The reserve fund is a fund of money that is appropriated every year and can be, then it would, under bylaw, would require the approval of the Board of Selectmen and the Appropriations Committee. And it was really for unanticipated and unexpected expenses. Knowing that
This was
we
somewhat of an
had this coming
anticipated
down the road,
expense.
but yet when we had to formulate the budget, you had not yet gone to a vote.
Right.
So that we were playing that juggling act. We did boost the reserve fund by some, 50, I believe it's $50,000. So there's about a $250,000 in there, 250,000 right now.
Plus, we have the money aside for town administrator salary too.
But that wouldn't be needed for the salary.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right, you have the-
But in terms of the process, under the council rules or under the new form of government, it would simply require a vote of the council to appropriate
Right.
the money from that reserve fund to a specific purpose, whatever that purpose might be.
Next on the agenda, discussion of establishing council priorities. A major factor was brought forth, whether or not to hire an interim town manager before selecting a permanent town manager.
I think I've said this to some of you, I did have a thought process on this. Obviously, there's gonna be some lag between July 1st and we can actually get an interim town manager through the door to actually sit down at the desk and start doing some work. So the way I see it, and if somebody else sees it, please chime up, but the way I see it, we can do one of two things. We could take a current town employee, one of our highly skilled and talented department heads perhaps, and appoint them as an acting town manager with the simple instructions of do no harm. That's what we're looking to occur is do no harm, to work with the council as we move forward. I'm guessing a 30-day period maybe that it would take to get
I think
an
that's
interim in.
reasonable.
Yeah.
The other option is keep going the way we are now without that leadership in the town hall, and I think that would be a mistake on our part.
Well, if I could add to that.
Please do.
I'm having a senior moment. Bob, our DPW director.
Eric,
Thank you. He had offered when we unfortunately lost Mr. Neffinger, he had offered to come in and act as, you know, as need be as a town manager. And I know he's obviously highly skilled in his position, and I think he would be, you know, one of the choices. And there's probably others, but he offered to do it. We're saddled with two things. We don't have an interim town manager. We're losing Lorraine, and it's going to be like, you know, you're going to need somebody to, you know, to keep the theoretical ball rolling.
To your point, we need to set up some succession planning so that we don't paralyze the town every
Right.
time there's turnover. You know, that's for another day. But, so if we appoint a department head, and we're saying don't do any harm, what authority are we giving them in this interim? What can they do?
Actually,
what can they not do?
The charter actually outlines that
They can hire.
fairly clearly, that they can't hire, they can't fire, they can't start new initiatives without the consent of the council.
On Thursday, the council met with the outgoing Appropriations Committee for a brief overview of the fiscal condition of the town. The town council's next meeting will be on July 1st. This will mark their first official meeting, and council members will get sworn in. The council will also vote on president, vice president, and other agenda items.
The school committee also met last week. Committee members reviewed the overall academic school year testing results with a presentation from the leadership team. School principals shared their data of students' math and reading scores. Although the results improved from previous years, some students still had to take part in interventions, a program for those students struggling with the curriculum.
As far as interventions, a couple of years ago I started math interventions, which was something new. And reading interventions are done by our reading specialist, thank you. So 25 students received reading interventions from the reading specialist this year. She uses the LLI kit, which is part of Fountas and Pinnell. She works with 3 students at a time according to their reading level. 24 of the 25 showed growth. 15 out of those 24 made significant growth in their reading levels from the beginning of the year.
3 through 5, right?
3 through 5. In math, I have a paraprofessional who provides the interventions face-to-face. It's not a computer program either. She had 30 students total twice a week. 29 of those students showed growth, and 23 of the 29 showed significant growth. Enough so that at least 5 or 6 of the students didn't need the intervention anymore and were taken out of the program.
You hear a lot about interventions at the K through 8 level. And a couple years ago, we took a stab at creating a tiered instruction courses at the high school, as you know, because you approved those courses. We had one in math, we had one in English. I can tell you that for both math and English, we probably identified a total of 12 to 15 students that were considered need for interventions at the high school level. And unfortunately, what happened was, I think for the high school student, it is a really hard pill to swallow to be placed in a course where they perceive there's a stigma. So we're in the tiered math course, and there's a lot of uncomfortable feelings about that. And as a result of that, we had a lot of kids, parents sign them out of the class. So they dropped the class. So we started off the year with like 10 kids, 15 kids, and with the drop-offs, we were running a class of 3 kids. So at the high school with personnel and staffing, it's just not feasible to run courses that low. And we've talked to different high schools. As a matter of fact, when we had our program, we were getting calls from across the district or across the region, we want to see your program. And that was an indication to us that a lot of high schools are struggling with the idea of providing those type of interventions. But thankfully, because of the work these guys are doing, that the more interventions and the more we're catching students along the way, the hope is that when they get to high school, those numbers of kids needing help with remedial and foundational skills will be lower. So it'll help us as we kind of dive right into the content and skills for the different courses that we have.
Results are not the only thing teachers and staff members want to improve. High school principal Gina Flanagan talks about improving students' communication and teamwork. Flanagan announced that the high school library is currently being renovated to fit the needs of a more open workspace for students to connect and come together.
Our library renovation is going really strong. Today they knocked down windows or glass and cabinets, and it's just, we're so excited because that's just going to be another place for our kids to collaborate and just have a place where they can go that's comfortable and encourages them to think and to learn.
Now on that, are there still going to be some quiet areas or quiet rooms where students can just sit and read or have some quiet downtime?
Yes and no. So one of the things that we did is they're installing it this week. Where the computer lab is in the back and it meets the library, there's a glass door that's going to separate those 2 rooms so that it kind of keeps the library a little bit more quiet. Really the noise comes from the lab pieces because that's where teachers are teaching. But most libraries right now are big open spaces. We're going to have lounge areas for kids to just kind of work on projects together, which is something we don't have a lot of those spaces at the high school. We're really limited.
More details about the high school library renovation project were discussed at the latest Board of Public Works meeting.
The last couple of days, our building facility staff has been up there removing all the bookcases. I've had Country Glass in there. They've taken down some glass walls that are original with the building. So we're wrapping up that project as far as the demolition phase as of tomorrow.
That's the high school?
Yeah, the high school. High school's buying all new furniture for the whole library, so we just help with moving all the old shelving, the original shelving and furniture that was obviously with the building from when it was open. So Country Glass will be in probably towards the end of the week to install another new glass wall to separate from a classroom up there. We're removing the reception area by the end of the week. So like I said, probably by the end of the week we'll be done with our portion of the project, and I know the school has ordered their furniture. I think there's pretty much probably 6 to 8 week lead time, so like you said, they'll probably be getting that done probably late July and get it ready for school opening.
DPW workers are taking good advantage of the summer months as they will review all the school buildings, check on safety regulations, lighting, and more.
Our annual facility inspections have started this week also. We have Wilco Sales in doing our operable walls at Meadowbrook, Birchland Park, the high school. Fire extinguisher inspections are taking place and wrapping up by tomorrow. They've gone through all the buildings and clocks and PA system this week. Also met with our energy efficiency guys as far as our Meadowbrook and Mountain View lighting retrofit project. Met with the contractor today, went to Mountain View and Meadowbrook. They'll be starting next Wednesday and should be wrapping up by, I believe, by the last week of July, the total retrofit of all the Meadowbrook and Mountain View school.
Switching gears, State Senator Eric Lesser wants to give Western Mass farmers a better retail marketing opportunity. Lesser invited officials from the year-old Boston Public Market in the city's North End to tour several Western Massachusetts farms, including Meadowbrook Farm here in East Longmeadow. The Boston Public Market is a major highlight in the city, an indoor year-round marketplace that sells locally sourced groceries and specialty agricultural products. Lesser wants to get Western Mass farms more involved in the high-end retail market, which draws a high volume of city residents and tourists through its stores. John Burney, owner of Meadowbrook Farm, took his visitors on a tour of his fields on Markham Road, where he's planted tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and the first stand of sweet corn for which Meadowbrook is locally famous. In addition to the value of providing fresh produce for city markets, Burney discussed the importance to local communities of maintaining agricultural open space and the success of programs that make it economically feasible to keep farmland out of development.
Now it's time to uncover this week's local stars. First, we celebrate Olive Thompson of East Longmeadow, 94-year-old chorus director for the Hampden Senior Center. ELCAT talks with Thompson about the program after one of the choir's performances.
We started the group a year ago, and when Nan asked if I would help out and direct a chorus, work up a chorus here. And so it started with about 5 people, and we kept at it with the 5 people, and pretty soon it got to be 10, and now it's 15. No, I think there was 17 of us here today, and so it's growing, and we have a great time with our rehearsals. We, a lot of the people don't read music at all, but they want to sing, and so I help them along.
Thompson also shares her impressive musical background and teaching experience.
I was in a musical college and got my degree in music, and they taught me how to conduct, how to teach other people how to sing, and I got my degree in music. And so all my life I've been teaching people how to sing and how to be happy with their voice, no matter what the voice is, whether it's a high one or whether it's a low one, just as long as they have a good time doing it.
The Hampden Senior Center Chorus will start back up in August to begin rehearsal for their Christmas performance that will take place in December.
Our next local star is a woman who goes above and beyond for the community. Kelly Phillips is a teacher at Meadowbrook School, But after the bell rings, she is running her own business, KP Fit. ELCAT visited Phillips' special Zumba class that she created for people with limited mobility. During this specific class, Phillips breaks down each step before jumping into the fast-paced workout.
This class, the Zumba for Everybody, that I kind of invented, I think, is designed for people with disabilities, and it's free. It's for people with disabilities and their caregivers, as well as anyone. So you could come to my Zumba for Everybody class and still get, as you can see, I'm sweating, so you can still get a workout. But it's just a great program. It's very uplifting, and it allows everyone to get a good workout. I'm a teacher at Meadowbrook School. I teach children who have disabilities and typically developing peers as well. My daughter has cerebral palsy, so pretty much my whole life, I've been working with that population. So I felt it was a need. I feel it's a need in the community, and I feel I have the ability to make it fun for people to work out, exercise, and have fun. So that's what it's about.
Phillips talks more about her certifications and other classes that KP Fit has to offer.
So I've been teaching fitness classes since 2009, I believe it is, and it's kind of grown from there. I started off with a class called Group Groove, and I got certified for Zumba classes and a variety of Zumba classes. So I'm certified now for Zumba Kids, Zumba Gold, which is for an older population. I'm certified for Aqua Zumba, Zumba Toning, and one that I'm forgetting. So all kinds of different certifications. So then I was lucky enough to get this facility opened up to me at our church, and I made an arrangement with church. My idea that I would pay them half of whatever I make. So if I have a Zumba class and 2 people come, and I charge $5 a person, I make 5, the church makes 5. So whatever I make, it's half. For anyone to achieve their fitness goals and their health goals, you've got to be consistent. In order to be consistent, you've got to enjoy it. So like in my TRX classes, we have the TRX, which are amazing. We have battle ropes, and we have slam balls and all kinds of crazy stuff. And people are out there of all ages, all ability levels, and all fitness levels, just having fun, doing stuff they never dreamed of doing.
KP Fit is where everyone discovers their favorite flavor of exercise. For more information on KP Fit programs, check out KP Fit's Facebook page. Also check out the website at kp-fit.com.
I love every minute of all of it. I love the workout. I love the people. My alarm, when I have a 5 a.m. class, my alarm goes off at 3:15. I wake up and I go, yes, the alarm's going off. Because I can't wait to get here and just have fun with everybody. There's such nice people that come to the classes. We laugh as much as we sweat. And we do sweat, believe me. So it's all good.
Now it's time for our weekly segment, Library Learning, where we let you know what's happening at the East Longmeadow Public Library. First, let's take a look back at the Summer Reading Kickoff event. Over 250 residents gathered at the East Longmeadow Public Library, eager to sign up for new summer reads. Residents enjoyed music, pizza, and prizes. This year, the library is calling all family members to join, children, teens, and even adults. Adult Services Librarian Lindsay Johnson and Children's Director Jenny Kinder walks us through the registration process.
The teens and the adults can sign up upstairs at the information desk. We have sign-ups online at our website, which is eastlongmeadowlibrary.org, or you can come in person. You get tickets every time you submit a book review, either if you listen to it or if you read it, and then the reviews go on weekly prizes or a grand prize, and there's different prizes for teens, there's a big prize for adults.
The children's, you sign up online, and then you come to our registration desk that we are calling the Scorer's Tent this year to go along with our theme, On Your Mark, Get Set, Read. And at that table, you'll get your pamphlet that shows all of the events going on this summer and a log sheet for keeping track of how much time you read. And that's very important for being able to earn the tickets that by reading. And then you can use those tickets to try to win prizes, or for some smaller prizes at our little concession stand. And a third way is to donate your tickets to a jar for the Massachusetts Special Olympics. And if we fill the jar at the end of the summer, then the library will donate some money to the Special Olympics. So that's our big service project this year. Go summer reading at East Longmeadow.
Getting adults involved in the summer reading program was a huge hit. The latest Board of Library Trustees meeting reviewed the success of the overall event.
We had the summer reading kickoff, and this year we did it a little differently. We decided instead of having the summer reading kickoff as more of a children's event, which was what we've done in the past, Jenny Kinder came up with the idea of making it a whole family event, because we do have the adult, the teen, and the children's summer reading program. And it was a great idea because we saw so many more dads that were able to come, and working moms and families. And it was great. The other part that was great is she invited the town council, and I was really happy to see that a number of them came, and it was great to meet them. I hadn't met all of them, and they were...
4 showed, right?
I think there were 4,
Yeah.
and it was great to see them talking to everybody, and people were glad to know that they were there, and I thought it was just a great, a great way for them to see the library.
The library is working hard to create even more events for adults. The next one coming up, Game Night. The library will provide a collection of tabletop games for this event. Tabletop games are a modern take on childhood board games. So, skip 2 spaces and head over to the library on Wednesday, July 6th at 5:30 p.m. Registration is required.
The next library event is one that will take your eyes off the books and onto the screen. The library will be hosting their monthly program, Friday Flicks, with the biographical hit drama Race. The movie showcases the emotional story about Olympic gold medalist Jesse Owens. The showing takes place July 8th at 1 p.m. in the library community room.
Speaking of events, let's groove into the Rotary Club's concert series. All concerts take place at the East Longmeadow High School field, starting at 7 p.m. On July 3rd, enjoy Trailer Trash, and moving ahead to July 6th, go experience Rick Larrymore and Blondes Have More Fun. For more information, head over to the Rotary Club's Facebook page at EL Rotary Concert.
Independence Day celebrations are here. The town offers numerous events for residents to enjoy. Get your blankets and chairs ready for the East Longmeadow fireworks. The fireworks take place on July 3rd at the East Longmeadow High School, starting at 10 p.m. Then on July 4th, the biggest event of the year, the annual 4th of July Parade. Whether you're marching, waving in the crowd, or on a float, you'll be sure to have a fun time. The parade is set to start at 10 a.m. at the high school. Then we'll move through the center of town towards North Main Street and end at Hanwood Hill. For those who would like to volunteer or register for a float, head over to eastlongmeadowma.gov/4th to sign up.
Well, that will do it for this edition of ELCAT News Update. Be sure to watch meetings on demand at our ELCAT YouTube channel, ELCAT 01028. Follow us on Facebook and watch us on cable channel 191 and 193.
For cable channel times, make sure to check out our ELCAT program guide, available at the Town Hall, Library, and Senior Center. Also check your mail as the programs will be delivered monthly within the reminder.
Until next time, I'm Jake Brady.
And I'm Rebecca Green. Thanks for watching. See you next week.